Okay, good morning to all. We are going to be studying today Hilchot Keriyat Shema, Perek Bet. This chapter is a continuation of the previous chapter. Now we're going to be speaking a little bit more about the Hayuv of Mitzvot Keriyat Shema and its fulfillment and different details in how to fulfill the Mitzvah of Keriyat Shema. Halacha Aleph. HaKoreh et Shema ve'lo kiven lebo Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, lo yasa yedei chovato, ve'ashe'ar im kiven lebo yasa. If somebody reads Keriyat Shema and he did not concentrate his mind while reciting the first verse of Keriyat Shema, in other words, the Shema Israel, that beginning verse, he did not his duty of the mitzvah. But the rest of the Pesukim, the rest of Keriyat Shema, im kiven lebo yasa. האם לא כיוון לבו יעשה, אפילו היה קורא בתורה כדרכו מגיע הפרשיות האלו בעונת הקריאה יעשה. If the rest of the Pesukim, if he did not concentrate his mind while reciting them, then he nevertheless fulfills his duty of Keriyat Shema, even if he was just simply reciting Pesukim from the Torah, to study Torah, and then the time for Keriyat Shema came, and he had kavanah to be Yosei L'Chovah. He had kavanah to fulfill his duty. He fulfills it. Or let's say somebody was magihai to parashiot. That is somebody who's editing a scroll of the Torah during the time of the Keriyah, and while he's editing, he's reading, and in his mind he's concentrating for the first pasuk at least to be Yosei L'Chovah, and the rest of the pasukim he continues reading it, and he has because Keriyat Shema, even if he doesn't concentrate his mind on the Pesukim, he nevertheless fulfills his duty. Vehu shekiven lebo pasuk rishon, of course, as I previously mentioned, this is as long as he concentrates his mind for the first verse. Halacha bet. Kol bnei adam korein kedarkan, ben omedin, ben mehallechin, ben shochevin, ben rochevin al gabe behema. Anybody may read Keriyat Shema in whichever posture or position that they want to read, standing, walking, laying down. We will see a little bit more on laying down in a bit, on riding an animal, driving a car, etc., etc. However, in regard to laying down, one is not permitted to read Keriyat Shema if he's laying flat on his back or flat on his stomach, because it's not proper. But rather, when somebody's laying down, Keriyat Shema while laying on his side. But a fat individual, a full individual, and he has difficulty to turn to his side, to stay on his side, or he was sick, for instance, then he may turn a bit to his side, a little bit, make a small turn as much as he can, and read. In the Talmud was Rabbi Yochanan, who was a little bit overweight, and this is, in fact, how he used to read Keriyat Shema. Halacha Gimel. Mi shehaya mehalech al raglav, omed befasuk rishon, ve'ashe'ar koreh ve'hu mehalech. So somebody that was walking, he was walking in the street, a pedestrian, and now came the time for Keriyat Shema. So he must stand while reciting the first pasuk. What does it mean, stand? The word omed in Hebrew, if translated to, literally to modern Hebrew, to modern English, means to stand. But in the Talmudic Hebrew, in the earlier Hebrew, stand also meant stop. So for an example, there's a famous mahloket in the Kaddish between Ashkenazim and Sephardim. Ashkenazim stand during the Kaddish, while Sephardim simply, they may sit during the Kaddish. But why is this? Because it's the mahloket, it's a disagreement in the interpretation of the word stand. The Ashkenazim interpret that you must actually physically stand up on one's feet. The Sephardim say no. You just have to stay in one spot, in one position. Don't walk around. But the rest of Keriyat Shema, so we said the Keriyat Shema, you have to stop whatever you're doing for the first pasuk, and then the rest of the Keriyat Shema, you may continue while you're walking. Let's say somebody fell asleep. I have a friend that fell asleep, and I know that he did not read Keriyat Shema. So you must wake him up, bother him, so that he reads the first pasuk. And from here on out, after he reads the first pasuk, if he was overcome by his sleepiness, then he does not need to be disturbed or woken up. And he's Yosei the Chova, and he has fulfilled his duty. Halakha Dalet. מי שהיה עוסק במלאכה מפסיק עד שיקרא פרשה ראשונה. So if somebody was busy, engaged in his work, yes, and the time for Keriyat Shema came, he must stop his work, stop in the middle of his work for the whole first paragraph of Keriyat Shema. And also, craftsmen, and so literally translated, uman means craftsman, but what it means actually is a professional craftsman, a craftsman who is professional in the field of work in which he is an artisan in. So these craftsmen also, they stop for the first paragraph of Keriyat Shema. So why? So that the reading of Shema shouldn't be perfunctory. So shouldn't be some haphazard reading. Just nothing. It has to be something. It's just you're fulfilling a mitzvah d'oraita. But the rest of Keriyat Shema one may read as he's working. Of course, the other two paragraphs. Even somebody who is reading, who's standing on top, in some sort of worker who is standing on top of a tree or on top of a wall, he may read in where he is, and of course, he has to say the beracha before and after. He has to say the blessing. Halakha he. Let's say somebody was engaged in the study of Torah. So you would say, he's studying Torah, so, maybe you could continue. So the time Keriyat Shema comes while he's studying Torah, he must stop and continue and start reading Keriyat Shema. And of course, he must say the blessings of Keriyat Shema, the ones previously mentioned in the previous chapter, before and after Keriyat Shema. But let's say somebody was engaged in public duties, okay, like a gabbai of a bit knesset, a gabbai of a congregation, yes? So he really does not have to stop because he's engaged in public duties, yes? He could complete the duties, and then he could read Keriyat Shema, of course, if there's time left to read. Obviously, הלכה ו' היה עוסק באכילה, או שהיה במרחס, או שהיה עוסק בתספורת, או שהיה מהפך בעולות, או שהיו עוסקים בדין, גומר ואחר כך קורא קריאת שמע. Somebody who was eating or bathing or trimming his hair, getting his hair cut, or turning leathers, or in a trial, in a court. Yes, all these people, they may finish, and the time of Keriyat Shema came, they may finish the work in which they are engaged, and then read Keriyat Shema after that. Why? What is the reason for this? Because these are all things which are, you don't want to be reading Keriyat Shema while doing these things. Really, one should not start doing these things, whatever. No, forget about that. The explanation is because they already started in what they were doing, they shouldn't stop. The halakha permits them to continue. And then after they finish, they read Keriyat Shema. However, if these people were afraid that the time that if they don't interrupt in their business, the time for Keriyat Shema will pass, the three timely hours which we mentioned yesterday. This is really praiseworthy and very nice. However, if they don't want to stop, the halakha permits them not to. The halakha permits them to finish their business. Halakha zayin, mishi yarad litvol, somebody who went down to take a tevilah. What tevilah is, it's what I would call a ritual bath, where you go into water. It's for purity. for spiritual purity. Now he's doing this close to the time of Keriyat Shema. If he could get up, and the time for Keriyat Shema came, if he could get out of the tevilah, out of the mikveh, out of the pool, before, and we're talking about a special pool for tevilah, for the action of spiritual purification, if he could get out of this pool and cover himself and read before sunrise, he may do so. However, however, if he was afraid that he would miss the time of Keriyat Shema if he did this, yes, he may cover himself in the water in which he is sitting or standing, right, in the water in which he is in, and read Keriyat Shema. However, of course, there's some details in the water in which he is in. However, he should not cover himself in water which is smells bad, or water which was standing for a while, and not in clear water. Yes. Sorry, mishra is water that was used for different for soaking different materials. Maim is clear water. Because when somebody is standing in clear water, his covered body parts are seen. However, but rather he should cover himself in water. Of course, we're not talking about overly smelly cloudy or cloudy water that is scentless, and there he may read, because the cloudy water covers his usually covered body parts. His halakha het. Hakore Keriyat Shema. לא ירמוז בעיניו ולא יקרוס בשפתיו ולא יראה באצבעותיו כדי שלא תהא קריאת עראי. Somebody who is reading Keriyat Shema with his eyes, or signal with his mouth, or point with his fingers. Why? So that the recital of Keriyat Shema should not be perfunctory. Okay? We're fulfilling a mitzvah deoraita. It's not something, reading a newspaper. But if he did so, even though he fulfilled his duties for Keriyat Shema, this is definitely some form of conduct. And one must hear his own reading while he's reading Keriyat Shema. But if he does not say it loud enough so that he hears himself, he nevertheless fulfilled his duty. Also, another important rule: somebody must really properly enunciate the letters, proper pronunciation, say the words in their most proper fashion, and we will get into what it means to properly be medakdik ba'otiyot. But if he did not have perfect pronunciation, nevertheless he filled his duty. Halachatet, kesad medakdik. How does one properly pronounce the words of Keriyat Shema? He should be careful not to sound a letter that has there's things in the world called, in Hebrew, there's something called a dagesh, in which the word, let's say you have a peh, that's peh degusha. It could also be written fe, if it does not have a dagesh, or kaf, that's kaf degusha. It could also be chaf, if it does not have a dagesh. There are certain letters that have to be pronunciated with, I'll call it certain strength, okay? And so somebody must be careful. The dikduk, the proper dikduk for Keriyat Shema, is not to unstrengthen the letter that's supposed to be strengthened, and not to strengthen the letter that's not supposed to be unstrengthened. Also, there's another rule in Hebrew, that there's something called Sheva Nach and Sheva Na. Also, I will not get too deep into this. It's Sheva Na is where you do Sheva Nach is where you do not pronounce, where you do not give it any mobility or any movement to the sound. And you have to be careful. In Hebrew, it's the same vowel that has different sounds. So you must be careful to make the vowel sound the way it's supposed to according to the word in which it is. Lefichach. And this can be explained in much more depth. I'm just giving it, what time allowing, giving the explanation that the time given at my disposal allows. לפיכך צריך ליתן רווח בין כל שתי אותות הדומות שאחת מהן סוף תיבה ואחרת תחילת תיבה הסמוכה לה. Also, another important thing, we pronunciate every single letter. So, if we have two words, one word has the same letter as the beginning of the following word, such as bechol lebabicha, right? Bechol ends with lamed, lebabicha starts with lamed, right? So bechol lebabicha, you could read it as one, you could connect it, bechol lebabicha, right? So that if you're missing one of the letters, you're actually, in fact, swallowing one of the lamed. But rather, you should read bechol lebabicha. Make a small distinction between the two words, so that you don't swallow the words. Kore bechol v'shohe v'chozer v'kore lebabicha. V'chen va'avatem mehera. Same thing. Va'avatem ends with mem, mehera starts with mem. You must make a little distinction between the two. Hakanaf petil. Also, hakanaf ends with fe. Petil starts with pe. You must make a distinction. Now, a very important note given to me by my grandfather, Yosef Faur, Sheikh. They don't really have the same pronunciation. You read nowadays, hakanaf does not have a dagesh, petil has a dagesh, so it's two different letters. It's hakanaf. Why does one have to make such a special distinction? You can read it, hakanaf petil. There's no swallowing of any letter. But in the original pronunciation, in the time of the Talmud, dagesh was not instituted. It was instituted later. It was instituted in the Tiberian period, and before the Tiberian period, there was no degeshim in the letters Beged Kefat, and really it was hakanaf fetil. Nowadays we have hakanaf petil, but nevertheless, obviously, one must anyway make sure to make some sort of distinction. It is needed. Also, the word tizkeru, if you don't make it sounded the zayin, it'll come out tizkeru. It could come out like that, and I've heard many people do it. Tizkeru. It's supposed to be tizkeru. And one must lengthen the dalit of the word ihad. Of course, ihad, a dalit, there's a dalit degusha, which is da, and there's a dalit which is not degusha, which is the, like a th in English. And that is the dalit, which is an ihad, of course. It doesn't have a dagesh. And it's like ihad rather than ihad. People who make the mistake of doing ihad, proper Hebrew grammar, proper Hebrew pronunciation is ihad, with like a th at the end. And the reason you need to make the dalit of a hat longer, of a had longer, is so that you could really acclaim God as the sovereign in the heaven and the earth, and towards the four cardinal points of the compass, because that is what Keriyat Shema is about. You're saying and taking it upon yourself that Hashem is one. And also, somebody must not say too fast the alif, the beginning of ehad, too slow the beginning of ehad, so there comes a ehad or mehila. There's two explanations to this. The second explanation is that short and the dalit long, like ehad. No, say it regular ehad, right? That is. I hope the explanation is clear to all those who are listening. חיות. קורא אדם את שמה בכל לשון שהוא מכירה, והקורא בכל לשון צריך להיזהר מדברי שיבוש שבאותה הלשון. הוא מדקדק באותה הלשון כמו שמדקדק בלשון הקודש, אם קראהה בלשון הקודש. And Keriyat Shema may be read, may be recited in any language in which the person knows, but with one important rule. The language which you read it in, you must pronounce it with the utmost accuracy as if it were Hebrew. In other words, the same accuracy that we give to reading Hebrew, you must pronounce it in the same in that accuracy if you're doing it, for instance, in English. So don't read it in a slang. Read it in the highest level English if you're going to read it in English. Of course, if somebody knows Hebrew, it's better to do so in Hebrew. Somebody who reads Shema, recites Shema, not in the correct sequence, did not fulfill his duty. In what case are we just talking? In the order of the pesukim, of the verses. However, however, if somebody switched the order of the paragraphs of Keriyat Shema, of the 3 paragraphs, Harambam, he's making here a pesak halacha of his own, based on his own judgment, and he's saying, according to Harambam, one who switched the order of the paragraphs did fulfill his duty. Why and for what reason? Because the paragraphs were not connected one to another in the Torah, but rather they are in different places in a scroll of the Torah. They're in different places. Again, this is one of those cases. It's very important to know, which he says, "Ani omer," I say, because the judgment is not clear in the Talmud. So he made his own judgment here, and he's letting us know this is not a Talmudic pesak. This is not a Talmudic judgment. Rather, this is my own. If somebody read the same verse twice, it is really not proper. It is improper. However, moreover, if somebody read the same word twice, then they shut him up. And in case that he's a hazan, if you hear him, you're supposed to shut him up, because it sounds like he believes in 2 deities. He's saying it to 2 different deities. קراءة הסירוגין, הלכה י"ב. קראءة הסירוגין יסע. אפילו שהה בין סירוג לסירוג כדי לגמור את כולה, יסע והוא שיקרא על הסדר. Somebody who read Keriyat Shema, but not in a continuous fashion, but rather took breaks in between the words and the letters and so on, he fulfilled his duty as long as he reads in the proper order. Yes? And even if he stopped for a long time, even if he stopped enough time to finish the whole recitation of Keriyat Shema, he still fulfilled his duty. Somebody who read Keriyat Shema in a sleepy mode, and he was very sleepy, he was drowsy. Yes? And Harambam gives the definition for drowsy. Drowsy is somebody who's not sleeping but not awake. Yes? He fulfilled his duty. But this is as long as he was fully awake for the first pasuk, for the first verse of Keriyat Shema. Halakha Yod Gimel. Safek kara Keriyat Shema, safek lo kara, hoze vekore. U'barech lefanea u'lacharea. This is a very interesting halakha, and it has a very interesting detail in it, which I will quickly give a little idea, a little point on, which should be noted. So somebody who is not sure or not, he must read again, and with his reading, he must read the berachot. He must recite before and after the blessings which were prescribed in the previous chapter. Now, this is a little bit odd because for the very simple reason that the berachot themselves are derabanan. The berachot themselves are a rabbinic. They were instituted by the rabbis, and we have the following rule that safek berachot lehakel. If you have a beracha and you're not sure whether you said it or not, you do not say it. So why is it that in the case of Keriyat Shema, in the case of a person who is unsure if he recited Keriyat Shema or not, he must say the berachot with the Keriyat Shema? And the answer is very simple. It is a rabbinic institution. It is a rabbinic. It was prescribed by the sages, but just like Birkat HaMazon, if somebody's not sure, he says the whole blessing, which is constituted of, has in it 4 blessings. One of them being a rabbinic blessing. The same way you do it that in Birkat HaMazon, the blessing after the meal. You say the whole thing if you're not sure, because it's the only blessing that is from the Torah. It's the only blessing that is not rabbinic. Again, the only blessing that's not rabbinic is Birkat HaMazon. And if you're not sure if you said Birkat HaMazon, you say the whole blessing, including the rabbinic blessings which are in it. That very same way in Keriyat Shema, which is a mitzvah, it's a precept from the Torah. When you fulfill it, you fulfill the whole precept as instituted by the sages, and therefore you do say the berachot before and after, even if you're not sure, because this mitzvah, this precept, you're doing it as one, as prescribed by hachamim, by the sages, by the rabbis. But now Harambam gives us a slightly different case. Somebody who knows that he read Keriyat Shema, ונסתפק לו אם בירך לפניה או לאחריה או לא בירך, אינו חוזר. However, somebody who knows he read Keriyat Shema, but he's not sure if he said the berachot or not. Now he's sure that he fulfilled the reading of the Pesukim, of those 3 paragraphs, but he's not sure about the blessings. In this case, he does not say the berachot. He does not say the blessings. Why? Because the blessings are rabbinic. And we know that he fulfilled the Torah's fulfillment. We're not sure about the rabbinic side of this fulfillment. Therefore, he does not fulfill it all. Does not say the berachot. Karav, somebody who read and made a mistake in Keriyat Shema. He mixed up the pesukim. He goes back to the place, the last place which he remembers that he made the mistake. Let's say somebody made a suddenly in the middle of reading Keriyat Shema does not remember which paragraph he was in. He goes all the way to the first paragraph because, of course, this is an important fulfillment. He has to fulfill it. הלכה י"ד, טעה באמצע הפרק, ולא יודע היכן פסק, חוזר לראש הפרק. Let's say somebody made a mistake in the middle of the paragraph, and he doesn't know where he stopped, he doesn't remember where he stopped, he goes to the beginning of that very paragraph in which he made a mistake in. היה קורא וכתבתם. Now, in Keriyat Shema, we have the 2 first paragraphs have in them a identical pasuk, which is וכתבתם לאות וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Yes? In the first paragraph and in the second. So let's say somebody read Uchtabtam, he's reciting Uchtabtam, and suddenly he's not sure. And he does not remember which Uchtabtam he's in. He's like, wait, am I in Uchtabtam of the first paragraph? Or am I in Uchtabtam of the second paragraph? He goes to the first paragraph because obviously to settle this unsurety. However, in the second paragraph of Shema, it says, and then immediately after, which is a different pasuk, which is unique to the second paragraph, if he already reached the second pasuk, the pasuk after, following Uchtabtam in the second paragraph, and he catches himself saying it, he's like, wait, and he's unsure, was I in the Uchtabtam of the first or in the second paragraph? He continues, why? For the very simple reason that he was going on the regularity of his tongue, on his memory. He was relying on the memory, which usually, in most cases, takes him the right way. And therefore, we rely that the same way in most cases his memory would take him to, if he was in the second Uchtabtam, he would read the proper pasuk after. Then this way we trust that and we say the person should continue where he was. הלכה ט"ו, היה קורא ופגע באחרים, או פגעו בו, אם היה בין פרק לפרק פוסק ומתחיל ושואל בשלום מישהו חיה בכבודו. כרון שפגע באביו או רבו, או מישהו גדול ממנו בחוכמה ומשיב שלום לכל אדם שנתן לו. So somebody who's in the middle of reciting Keriyat Shema, and suddenly he arbitrarily suddenly meets somebody. He met somebody, but not in a not in a planned way. He suddenly sees somebody he knows, or somebody he knows sees him. So if he's in between the paragraphs, he may stop and be the first one to say hello to those, hello to the people, as long as there are people who he has the obligation to respect, like his father, or rabbi, or teacher, or somebody that's at a higher intellectual level in Torah and so on. And however, if he's in the middle of the paragraphs, he's inside one of the paragraphs, he may, and somebody says hello to him, he may say back hello to anybody who says hello to him. Is a very important halakha, because really it says in there's another halakha which says that you should always try to be the first one to say hello. That's why this halakha is so relevant. It's important to always try to be the one who says hello first, to always be as nice and as proper to those around us. הלכה ט"ז, היה קורא באמצע הפרק, אינו פוסק ומתחיל לשאול, אלא בשלום הוא מתיירא ממנו. מחילה, I made a mistake in the explanation of the previous halakha. I'm going to re-explain it. It said that if you're in between the paragraphs, you may be the one initiating the hello, as long as it's somebody older than you, somebody who you have to respect, somebody like your father or teacher. But if somebody said hello to you already, and you're in the middle of the paragraphs, then you may say hello back. Now הלכה ט"ז. היה קורא באמצע הפרק, אינו פוסק ומתחיל לשאול אלא בשלום משום מתיירא ממנו. Now, if he's in the middle of one of the paragraphs, he must not stop and say hello unless it's somebody who's afraid of. כגון מלך or anas v'chayotze, like a king, a goy king, who may kill you if he sees you, or some sort of a thief or thug. You know, you're walking at night, somebody comes to mug you, and you know, or you're scared that he's this. You say hello. אבל מישהו חיה בכבודו כגון אביו או רבו, אם נתן לו שלום תחילה, פוסק ומשיב לו שלום. But somebody who is obligated to respect, and he's in the middle of Keriyat Shema, and he meets somebody that's obligated to respect, he is not allowed to say hello. He's not allowed to be the one initiating the hello, the greeting. However, if the person who he has to respect already initiated the greeting, he may answer him back. And if it's a regular person who does not have any duties to respect, have any obligation to respect, he does not answer back, and he does not initiate a reading if he's in the middle of the paragraph. Halakha Yod Zayin, the last halakha, ve'elu hen ben haperakim. And we were saying in between the paragraphs, the middle of the paragraphs, what are in between the paragraphs? Ben beracha rishona lishniya, between the first and second berachot. Ben sheniya l'shema, between the second beracha and Shema, and the first and what we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Eloheinu Hashem Echad Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Ben Shema leVayayim Shamoah, between the paragraph of Shema, which ends with and V'Hayayim Shamoah, between there, that's considered between the paragraphs. V'Hayayim Shamoah leVayom, Ben V'Hayayim Shamoah leVayomer, between V'Hayayim Shamoah leVayomer, Aval Ben Vayomer leEmet V'Yasiv Arehu Ke'emsa HaPerek. However, between the last parasha, the third paragraph of Shema, to the beracha that immediately follows it, that is considered one long paragraph, which you may not stop in the middle of, unless you're in the situations mentioned in Halakha Zayin. Like we said in Halakha Zayin, you may, if you're between the middle of the paragraph, let's say between Vayomer and Emet V'Yasiv, you may not stop unless it's somebody that you're scared of, that you must initiate a hello to, or somebody you owe respect to, that initiated a hello, and you want to answer him back in order to be respectful. We have finished for today. Bezrat Hashem, more on Sunday. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.